Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Melanin Madam. Tonight, for Tipsy Thursday's topic, we are going to talk about validation and what that means, especially today. While we are getting ready, let me start out. Actually, I think I want to roll out the red carpet for my damn self because I never do that. Guess it's a form of validation. It just made me happy, made me feel good about myself. So, yes, I'm going to roll out the red carpet for myself. And for tonight's toast, I am drinking. What the hell am I drinking? I don't know. This one is cranberry, I think. Yeah, it's cranberry, and it's actually really good. I like the bitter, sweet taste. Very good. So, tonight we are going to toast to thinking about other people, plain and simple. Simply thinking about other people. Actually, no, nothing these days can be too plain and simple because while you're thinking about others, make sure it translates into something. Because if it doesn't translate, it doesn't matter. Like when you really, really love somebody, but you don't tell them, or you really appreciate something that they are doing for you, but you don't tell them, and then you wonder why they start to act a certain way. Maybe because you forgot to say thank you. Problem could be you. It's usually you, as in me, as in raise your hand, like take ownership. But that is what we're going to toast tonight, taking the time out to actually make those connections, especially with all of the ways you can do it, right? You can send an e-card, you can send a text, you can post it on social media, you can do it all types of ways. So it doesn't require like back in the old days where you actually had to pick up the phone and do it or put a card in the mail. You don't have to anymore. It's way too easy now. So we just need to slow down and do so. So cheers to uh, appreciating people. Okay. So while we wait for the ethnic people to arrive, Jesus, we are going to get started. So I hope you're eating dinner. Most people with kids is probably just eating dinner now or at the busy lifestyle. I am eating Caesar salad because that's what I really had a taste for. But don't worry, I'm also eating it with Doritos. So let's see. What does validation actually mean to you, right? So when you think about the topic of validation, um, I see these memes because memes ruin lives because they're running people's lives. When you think about that particular topic, you hear people saying, you don't need somebody's validation. Nobody needs to approve of you doing something. Well, validation and approve is kind of different. And this is what I mean. If you are doing something, let's just say at work, I like to take it to simplest form. That way we can see, that really is kind of silly, right? But and to all the people out there to say, don't eat with your mouth full. Yeah, okay. Um, so when you think about validation at work, right? It's year end time. We're all doing our reviews, getting prepared to go to bat for that 3% that you're gonna get anyway. So I don't know why we gotta write all this stuff, but we do. So you're getting prepared to go in and say all the wonderful things that you've done all year. And when you're done, you're going to want your boss to say something, right? You don't want to write all of these things or bring up all of these accomplishments and nobody says anything, right? Or they acknowledge some, but not all. You want for that time to be dedicated to validate what you have said. That is what validate is. Validate means that in somebody else's life when it has to do with your relationship with them, right? So, no, I don't need permission to eat this salad right now. But if I were to ask you and it involved you, hey, do you like the salad that I made tonight? You're going to want somebody to validate that. Those are two different things. And I think that we've gotten into the habit of throwing everything into a blanket statement or a new saying or something like that. And then it takes on this life of its own. Generally, that is either blaming or minimizing or doing something to alter our mental stability and our mental health. And I don't think, not even I don't think, I know that it's not okay. So, do you want to be validated from your partner? Of course you do. Here's how you want to be validated from your partner, though, right? I don't need you to tell me every single day that, oh, you're beautiful, oh, you look nice. Speaking for myself, I'm okay with the way I look. I believe that I am beautiful. And beautiful is a different word than all these other words. But at minimum, I believe that I'm beautiful, right? But let's just say, like, my husband's favorite color is red. If I wore a all red outfit and I knew that he was taking me out, I would want you to acknowledge that, because I'm probably wearing all red because I know that it's your favorite color and we're going out to spend time together. So it's those little extra things that you place your touch on, that you do to include somebody else because you're thinking about them, that you do want validated. In as much, you also want to have validation so that you're not doing things that are a waste of time, right? If I'm doing something that my husband, a sister, my mom, anybody that they don't like, but it's something that I'm going out of my way to do, I'm not an uber sensitive person. And we all need to not be uber sensitive. If I'm doing something like, child, my husband, there was one point that I was able to start making dinner, and I would tell him, okay, call me when you get right here so I could put the final touches. That way I could time it. So I knew his routine. You come in, get out the shower. I want you to be able to have a hot meal, right? Off the top, you know that that's something that your spouse is doing specifically for you. I mean, it's very clear. It was communicated, right? Hi, this man. It would be times when he would be like, oh, I don't eat beef. Oh, I don't eat this. Oh, I don't eat that. Not a problem at all. But like, he didn't tell me, right? So I don't want to keep going out of my way to prepare these things and thinking about you in mind, but you don't tell me. If you just tell me, since I'm putting forth effort, tell me where to put the effort to, right? Just as much. The validation on the other end of, I hear you and I understand how you work. I realized something about him, and this is me sharing and being transparent and how I worked it into my life. Because I will never, I will sometimes give advice. I will give advice based on experience, based on exposure, and based on logic. Okay. So I identified, okay, this man is so appreciative. Like, whatever I made, he would just eat around it, right? If there's something that he don't eat that's a part of it, he will eat around it. Whereas I want to see him enjoy all of it. And I want him to know this is for you, you know? So it got to a point where before I would go grocery shopping, I would ask, hey, what are you not eating this week? You know, it took that much time just to make sure that I'm validating that I notice that this is your pattern. You do cycles of things. So it's not for me to sit here and be like, oh, you're unappreciative because you won't come around to doing it my way, when it's just as easy for me to have made the change and say, I noticed that you do it this way. I mean, you could make so many things a tug of war, but in order to get the best out of life, to get the best out of quality of relationships across the board, it's just best to communicate. With my team at work, I have a lot of different quirks, and everybody does, but mine are very specific. And there are some that's like on my do not, please don't do this to me list, because it's a trigger. Obviously, if people forget, I make the adjustment. However, I will start a conversation with, because we are getting to know each other, or because this has changed, I want to communicate to you this thing. And I want to communicate this thing because it would be very unfair for me to be on the receiving end of something and not say that it's an issue, and reply with attitude, or acting as if the person did something to me, versus just communicate and say it. Because some people may say, well, I don't want people in my business, or things like that. But the reality is, at some point, it's impacting something. So they're going to be in your business. Only now they're going to be talking about your batshit crazy, because they don't understand why, when you don't like somebody using the word you towards, the person or whatever. Instead, you want them to talk like this. Why not just communicate what you want? Because as much as we would like to have the privacy that we used to have, where work and home are separated, there really shouldn't be that much privacy in a marriage. With your children, there's not that much privacy. Just things have changed. And no, I'm not talking about the things that have changed where you become of the world, because those are the things that God specifically told us not to do. But in changing to adapt to behaviors, to the amount of knowledge that we've gained from the study of people, from the different resources that are out there, it makes more sense to implement it so you can be validated. Everybody wants to be validated throughout your day. I don't care what nobody says. Those people that say, oh, I ain't even tripping like that, then why'd you say it? I ain't even tripping like that usually follows by you telling 13 people you ain't tripping like that. Uh, and then repeating the story over and over. If you ain't really tripping, then whatever happened would have brushed off your shoulders and you would have kept going as if it didn't happen. It is okay to have feelings. It is okay to want to express what is bothering you. How you express it, well, that's when it looks different. People have gotten to the point where they either wait until something is so big that they explode. So yeah, the way that it's received, the way that you feel after you do it is completely different because you lost control. When you know in your heart of hearts, like, I knew this the third time it happened. I knew this the second time it happened and I didn't say anything. And now it got to the point where I cussed that person out. And after you do it, leading up, you like, they do this again, I'm gonna cuss them out, blah, blah, blah. Why are you setting somebody up for something you didn't tell them? So yeah, in the end, you cuss them out because that's what you wanted to do, probably because you were mad at something else and you just wanted to cuss that person out. And then after you do it, you feel silly. You feel embarrassed because you're like, I lost control. I didn't even need to say all of that. Now I look like I'm whiny. Now I look like I'm problematic, and you are, uh, because you didn't communicate, and you act like you're made of cast iron or something. Anybody with a heart, and I need you to understand, as adults, you become an adult so you can do adult functions like pay bills, run a household, procreate, things like that. But your mental stability, your ability to dream, your ability to reach, your ability to take things in stride, that comes from you when you were at your purest form. The child part of you never ever leaves, which is why I never saw anything wrong with, example, how Michael Jackson acted, or any celebrity that's been a celebrity since a child. When they do things that you like, oh, that's childish, I don't think so, because they didn't have a childhood like everybody else. And so now that they have control over their life, they're going back and validating themselves. They're going back and feeding themselves. Validation is feeding. That's a good way to put validation in the way that I am talking about it. That is healthy. Validation, it feeds you. Validation is confirmation when it involves another person. Validation is approval of receipt, right? Not approval of, is it okay for me to do this for me? No, it's validation of receipt when it includes somebody else. And these, I'm noticing, and and understand when I say this, it's because of the exposure to the amount of people that I've had in such in different cultures, different backgrounds, different states, and things like that, because of my prior experience in HR. I've had exposure to a lot of people, and these are some of the studies and things that we would do, as well as my education. When getting my master's, there was a lot of emphasis. My capstone, I'll say that my capstone was inclusive of a paper at the beginning that talked about I think it's your future self, your true self, and the person you want to be. So after you go through all these classes, you write this 25-page paper. At the end, that goes through all of these things, but you learn about emotional intelligence. So you learn what these words really mean and how they translate and how they keep you healthy to acknowledge and take care of them. So I wanted to say that because I know that some people use all of these people or the context that they're using and they're literally talking about the people around them. Well, I'm not. I'm talking about the study of the case studies that I've done, the research that I've done, and I ask a lot of questions because I generally care about people and I want to understand them. And what is weird to me is really important to somebody else, and vice versa. I've been on the receiving end of that and I don't like the way the shit feels. And it's never felt good because I treat people how they want to be treated. And it has been my experience that people have treated me the way they feel like fucking treating me. That's just my experience. So hurt people do not hurt people. Some hurt people try to make sure they don't hurt people. And that would be your girl. So there are people that this social media thing, it takes a lot over them. The exposure that we have, these are not conversations that you generally have with your friends and people around you. The amount of people that you are open to is much larger. Whether you know them on a personal level or not, you're getting to see what their personal feelings towards a topic is, their train of thought, and just in general, how cruel some people are, all of that. And it takes a toll on you as a person if you let it move into that space of validation, though, because you start to feel like, and it literally becomes embedded in who you are, you feel like the direction that you're moving in may not be the right direction. And maybe I should do this. Or look, they did this that I did, but a little bit different. So maybe if I do it like that, I'll be successful like them. With that, I will tell you that form of validation is wrong. It's completely wrong because you could try it, but there's no guarantee. When they tried it, there was no guarantee. Anything that is foundational that you should be doing. Now we're talking about business or a relationship that's foundational that you should be doing. Those things, follow those. Those are good things to learn. Respect, communication, values, morals, all good things. When it comes to something like uh spoil your wife, always send her flowers every week. My husband sends me flowers every week, and that's made us be married 25 years. Okay. Asia doesn't want flowers every week. You get what I'm saying? Don't and some people will literally take that in and be like, well, maybe that would have helped, me stay married. Not something that small, but would have helped me stay married. Could be. Or maybe my husband doesn't pay attention enough because he doesn't do that thing every week. But you also have a husband that makes sure you never put gas in your car or always washes the car. Those special things that you have are the things that you should be validating your partner, your kids, your boss, your teammates, yourself. Those are things that we generally feed off of needing the validation for. And those things are perfectly okay. One of my biggest sayings is I'm not going to applaud you for doing what you should do. So that mother that have 4 kids, I'm not going to applaud you because you take care of your kids. No. But if you have tuned into what is special about each one of the kids and, or I see you reading a bedtime story to them every night, or, when you wake up, you guys sing a song together. My goddaughter and her mom, Hilda, they go to the mirror every morning and while they're brushing their teeth, she says a validation statement and has ever since she's been one. Those are the things that I admire about other people, that type of thing. The wife that my friend Kasha, when she was married, she used to cut out like even hearts in her husband's sandwich and stuff. God rest his soul when he was alive and they were together. That I think that was for them. So that's something that I was like, dang girl, you like Betty Crocker. But it just to me, those are the things that make you different. Those are the things you need validation about because it's outside of the norm, the structure, the day to day. It's something that helps you create a bond with somebody. In business, if somebody reaches a milestone, I like to celebrate it. I like to tell people, I've been asked actually, and I meant to mention that, why I haven't done my celebration from um, becoming monetized and reaching the numbers now. Disclosure, monetized does not equal a check. I ain't got no money still. But it's because the significance of that milestone matters to me. And so if I can't celebrate it and Hilda be here, then I'll wait. That's just me. I'll wait. And I know that at this time she's really busy at work. And then before that, I was sick. So that is a form of me validating her that the effort she put into me, I appreciate it. That's me appreciating her because she was the first one to sit down with me. She check on me all the time, send me ideas, support me no matter what. Why would I do it different? That doesn't make any sense to me to do it different. It's just not right. So that's what's really important to me. I think that when people think about the amount of validation, you sometimes hear people, I don't gotta kiss their butt. Oh, and thank you. I see the congratulations. Thank you. I don't have to kiss that person's butt, or I don't want to blow their head up, but you don't mind receiving what they're doing for you. So, how does that work? If you don't want them to do it because you don't appreciate it, because that's what it sounds like, then don't receive it. Then say no, thank you. It's okay to say no, thank you. I was raised with you don't have to accept everything. And if you don't F with certain people, you certainly don't respect nothing. That I believe is a part of respect and a part of your character. If I don't deal with you, I'm not accepting something from you because that's a user. I'm not doing that. I'd rather walk on my tongue. And it has nothing to do with pride or nothing like that. It's just I'm not going to use somebody and I wouldn't even validate what they're doing for me because I don't appreciate it. It's fake. That's being fake. The only people that I talk about, the only thing that we should talk about and receive something from is our job because we'll cuss them out in a minute in between breaks and whatnot. And you still gonna show up, we break up with our job every day. But that's different. But people, you need the validation. You want to know that what you are doing makes sense. You want to, I actually like appreciating people. I like when somebody opens their wallet and see a little something I left for them. I like when I say, send me your I don't do Cash App no more. Send me your bank information. I want to send you money for lunch today. Or, you know, um, I don't have much time, but I'll jump in the car like on my lunch and maybe I cook something for my mom and I run over there and give it to her and gotta go. It's not the time I want to spend with everybody sometimes, but that's my way of showing that I appreciate people. It works both ways. Just as much as I like to receive it, I like to give it because that fuels me to remind me that I care about people, remind me that that's what's the most important thing. And you can't get away from that. So the validation question, yes. And this holiday season, especially, times are difficult. In California and some of the more expensive areas, I don't know that the job market is necessarily down. I think it's actually up because there's so many places like hiring or whatever. Appreciate whatever somebody gives you. If you get a card in the mail, say thank you because that's like a big deal. FYI. If you get anything from somebody, appreciate it. If it's something that you don't like and you'll never use, re-gift it. It's not that, it's just not, everything is just not that serious to me anymore. The things that we complain about, and then some of the things that we don't acknowledge it as much are extremely important. Accept what people can do. And on the other side of that, if somebody doesn't want to accept what you're giving and they say, oh, I really, this was thoughtful, but it's really not something I'm going to use. You could give it to somebody else, but I appreciate it and I'm acknowledging the gift. Don't get your panties in a bunch. Just say, oh, okay, thank you for letting me know, or, you know, oh, here's where I got it. Take it back and get something else. Or I really thought you would have liked it. Like, stop taking everything. That's why people don't want to talk to you. People don't want to say anything because when they try to, you make their feelings irrelevant and you don't validate that what they said is okay. You don't validate that it's okay to talk to you. And that is becoming a problem. People would rather disappear, do all of these things than to communicate, some because of how they treat people, and some because of how they feel things will occur. But none the same, that's the topic for tonight. Validation is actually important. It is something that's needed. It does contribute to our psycho health, energy, all of those things. And at the end of the day, it's simply a form of communication so that you don't waste somebody's time, their efforts, their money. It's okay for all of that is included in validation. It's not just about getting permission. It's not. Permission is different. You're not asking for approval for yourself. But if you are doing something with somebody else, I do believe they have the right to say yay or nay. So for me, these topics during these next couple weeks, so that I can keep up with my algorithm and keep showing up like I should and discussing the things that need to be discussed, or at least touched on a little bit, I am going to continue to do between 8 and 8:30, 30 minutes minimum. Now, let me close with how you can enter the giveaway for the makeup kit that I posted whenever I posted it. It was one of my last posts. But the way that you enter for that is obviously you have to be subscribed. I am going to look for your YouTube channel through my back office. And I am going to pick somebody on next Thursday. I'll pick somebody by next Thursday's Tipsy Thursday. And you do need to be subscribed. You need to have listened to, liked, and commented on 5 videos. And I could see that too. So I told y'all, I don't care if you run it while you sleep. Just run it. Run me my hours. And if you do that for me, then you will be entered into the drawing. And I will make sure that there's this app you can use that'll help me pick the person. And then I'll announce it next Thursday. But I will do a final pull like Wednesday at midnight. Y'all know I'll be up. And don't forget to join on Sunday, because on Sunday, I went to a doctor in LA, a natural herbalist that's been there for 26 years, recommended by Lala Millian on her channel. And he did a complete read of my body through my eyes. And let me tell you, it was very eye opening. And we'll go through some of the things together. Some are just too personal, but some I want you to see and hear what is being said, because you may have some of those same issues too. And if you stay in the LA area, you may want to make an appointment. If you don't stay in the LA area, if something is wrong with you that you've been looking for the answers to for a long time, I would even say it's worth it. Because when I looked up his information, I was looking to see where he was so that I could fly to him, because this insomnia is no bueno, guys. I'm exhausted all the time. So with that being said, thank you for joining tonight. Run it back if this is one of the videos that you want, and comment. And let's see what else. I said 5 videos, and I don't mean the shorts. And it also, the shorts. And before shorts started, I think I did a couple of other short videos. I'm talking about 30 minutes or more. Y'all know how much money I paid for that makeup? And do you want it on time? Do you want all of it? I don't know. See, that's what I mean. Y'all need to validate me and how I feel. Just kidding. Except I'm not. Have a good night. We already toasted. So Thank you for joining. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Most of all, comment. I want to know how you all feel about validation um, and how important it is in your life. So, with that being said, everybody have an amazing night. Get ready for the holidays and know that I am validating you now. What you can do is what you can do, and that is enough. Parents, don't stress yourselves out. Don't. And kids, enjoy what you get because at this point, life is such a blessing now more than ever. And we can clearly see that. So, good night.